Afternoon, everyone. I always got to say good morning because it feels like morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, even good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And I can see all my mats, so that's good. And I know that's my working space. Good afternoon, everyone. How you doing? Please type in hi so I know that you're who's watching, so that I can actually say hello. Because if you don't type it, then I don't know whether you're in or not and whether you're watching. So again, this is a nice craft along, so we will wait for a few more people to join. How is everybody? How is Dawn today? If you're watching, please type hello or hi so that I know that you're watching. Because without that message, I don't know who's watching. So I can't say hello. Hi, Donna. Oh, lovely. Is that the photo you sent Gavin earlier, is it? Donna just said, hello boys, not crafting along, but I'm watching. Just finished the man's card from 2 weeks ago. Morning, Gaynor. Or afternoon, Gaynor. Afternoon, Alison. How are we doing? Hiya, Gavin. Gavin's downstairs watching this because I'm actually up in the craft room doing the live today again. So again, if you'd like to share this to any friends that are, you know, that are crafters, or just share it to your timeline, then that would be lovely. And afternoon, Helen. How are you? Hope you're all keeping safe. Hi, Angela. You found us then today. So these are the two. Afternoon, Peter. How are you? So this is the card I'm sort of going with today. Okay. And this is the size I'm going for. But I'll show you a couple of more samples now before we get going, and I can tell you what you also need. Need a little bit of watercolour card. I've just cut mine to 15 by 15 centimeters. So that's what you need. Or if you want to just use inks to do an inky background, then you can just use your normal super smooth, and we can do a background with that. I'll do both just to show you that anyway. The other thing is as well, if you've got sparkle pens, you can do backgrounds with sparkle pens. Just rub it all on and then spritz it, and then it'll all spread, and then you'll get glittery bits as well. Alright, so the background is entirely up to you. I'm going to show you how I got these flowers all sort of wispy as well. 3 different ones there, but they're all from the same flower. Right, so let me show you a few more. So yep, if any products, or most of the products I'm using today are on the link that Gavin just shared. Hiya Deborah, how are you? Okay, and basically, my arm is in the way now because I'm just grabbing some cards that I've done as well with a different size. So this is using the rectangles. Afternoon, Janice. So like I said, you will need an A4 piece of Super Smooth, because we're going to make a card base which is 6x6. And then we'll also need a piece of black or a piece of colour card which we can cut the little frames out of. And then we'll also need a sentiment. And we'll also need some flower dies or punches or something like that as well, unless you've got some foamy flowers. Afternoon, birthday girl. Everybody, it's Carol Woolmer's birthday today. Happy birthday, Mum. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And we'll give you the rest later. Hope you're okay today. So yeah, so that's the rectangle one. Using rectangle dies, nesting dies. This is a circle one using silver pearlescent. You can use mirror board as well if your dies can cut it. So that's that. I've also taken the circles. So with the circles there, I've pushed them all to one side and stuck them all on top of each other there, so it gives you that sort of look like that. With this one, I've actually put the circle to the left, and then on that inner circle I put it to the right, and then left, right, and you get sort of a different look on it. But that's that card. Yeah, the rectangle one is lovely. Yes, we are too, Mum. So yeah, so these are sort of ones that I've done, and then just to show you, this could actually be, I know it's gone, but this could be an Easter one. That's using ovals, nesting dies. And then I've just put them all the way to the bottom, stuck them all to the bottom, just put the last two little ones inside here. And then I've just made some flowers around like that. And this is the piece Gavin actually used with his gilding flakes the other day. So you can see there's pink gilding flakes, there's gold within the background with the pixie powders, and I've just picked up the pink with the inks over the embossed flowers. Okay, so we're going to start off by doing a background. So I'll revert back to my first two cards. So this is what we're going to work on. Now, I'm not going to have to worry about drying my background because I've actually got a blue one that Gavin did the other day with golds and pinks and stuff in it. So I'm going to be using that one anyway later, but I wanted to give you a sort of tip on how to do some backgrounds as well. Because we all do things a little bit differently. I'm just looking for the pickies. So again, I'm going to stick with the blue, and with the pixie powders you can use your little spritzer bottles, even your little fine misters. I'm just going to find my teal wash. So that's the one I've used in there. And so normally we say not to squeeze the bottle of the pixie powders, but if you want to put some powder into a little bottle, then please do squeeze it, just not too vigorously. Hi Teresa, how are you? Okay, and then I'm just going to add some water into that as well. I'm actually going to pour the water in, just like it when the lid just pops off again. I just wanted to show you can actually make, so if you didn't want to spritz, put your powders down and then spritz it, you can actually put your powders in a spritzer bottle and actually do that. And then when you actually spritz it out, then it will work. It will work. I think my nozzly is a little blocked. There we are. So you can actually get and then you actually add in the colour as you spritz. Okay, and I quite like that. So that's my one colour. I've already got one with gold in. And by doing it this way as well, I think sometimes it just adds a little less water in there, because you can be a bit more choosy about where you're putting it. And then what's in this one? I think I've got a little bit of pink in this one, so I'll just go with that as well. Okay, and don't be afraid to put your finger in the middle. Yeah, so this one is getting a few spots of the pink because it's running out. Could put more water in, but I'm just gonna get some spots of pink in there. So there we are. So that's that. So this is it, don't be afraid. And if I wanted to add more water to that, then I could add more water. But if you want to learn more about pixie powder backgrounds, then Gavin did do some the other day on Tuesday on his demo. So you can revert back to our live on Tuesday, or Gavin's live Tuesday, which was on Facebook and our YouTube. Okay, and then you just dry that up. So the reason we dry that up is so that when we come to stick in our frames to it, it means that it'll actually stick, because if it's too wet, then obviously it won't stick with the glue. Well, we can't hear you now, Delia, anyway, because I can't hear you. Nobody can hear you now. But Penblwydd Hapus, yeah. That's the Welsh way of singing it. So I'm just drying this. I notice I'm not hanging around too much in one place because I don't want it to warp my green mat. And there's not a lot of water on there anyway, because I've spritzed it from the bottles with the inks. La 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 la. And this will start flattening it out as well, so as it dries it'll flatten it all out. I just wanted to show you a quick way of doing it as well. So if you've got lots of little spritzer bottles, you can put a different colour pixie powder in each and then do your backgrounds like this as well. Okay. And the secret is when your card, I don't know if you can see all the shimmer on that, so you get more of a spotty instead of a running sort of pattern with it. So obviously the spray goes down, and your powders are also going down a lot lighter as well, so because they're going in the spritz instead of being soaked. There's a little spot on there which is doing console in. If I, so any wet bits on there now, I could even use kitchen towel and little foam spots. So just like you can with your inks and your distressing inks, you can splash water on it now and lift some of the colour as well. Okay. So that way you're making your own colour spritzers as well, really. Okay. And that's lovely. And that is perfectly dry. So when the card starts feeling like it did at the beginning, that's when you know it's actually dry enough. Okay, because it should feel exactly as it felt when you first put it on your mat. And that's how you know when any card is completely dry, is when it goes to the same state as it was in the beginning. So I'm just cleaning that off a bit. There we are. Okay, so that's the piece. And in fact, that's one that Gavin did with the blues and that. So I think I'll stick with the lighter one today, so I will use that one. Okay. We sell these little ones, Deborah. So we sell the little ones, and I'm not sure if they're in a pack of, I'm not sure in a pack of 4. Okay, so that's, I think we do a pack of 4. I'm not sure if the pack of 4, pack of 3, but I think it's 4. And of course, by doing that, then you know, if you've got 4 pixie powders you use a lot and you would just want to spritz some, then you've got that. So this is my little piece of card, and it's actually exactly the same size as my card, so that's that. So I will pop that to the side. Okay, and then so I'm going to leave these cards just sort of poking in on the side there, because I can work with all that there. And I don't actually need the heat gun now, so I can unplug that. So that's a quick background with pixie powders in spritzer bottles. But if you want to use, there are other instructions on that on Gavin's Tuesday live that he did this Tuesday. So please do have a look at that if you haven't seen it already, and then you'll know, then you can go from there. You tried them, Deborah, did you? It keeps blocking up. You've either put too much powder in then, Deb. I've tried them, but it keeps blocking up. Yeah, you probably put too much powder in, so it's too thick, and that's why it's blocking up. But they should be fine, to be honest with you. I've used them in the little ones as well. I know, I'm not sure if they're the only ones we can get now, because I'm not sure if the other ones came with another company that's gone through, but we might have to have a look as well. So we got two options. Right, so what we're going to do now is the die cutting. Okay, now I've used squares on here. You can use circles, you can use anything you want. Okay, I'm going to use the squares again because I've done these in square just to show you. And I'm just going to get my square dies, which are, it's finding the square dies. So I'm just going to shift that over a bit so I can get my dies. So you might wiggle a bit now because I didn't get my square dies out before I'd done that. Should have. So there we are. So I've actually got square dies, and the largest one is just slightly smaller than the card, but I'm going to leave that on there as well. And I've got them on a piece of tape. Okay, so I'm going to put my magnet sheet back just so it's out of the way, and you will wiggle again, but then I will leave these dies out. So basically what I've done, I've taken a piece of low tack tape. It can be a little bit stickier as well if you cut in all this, because we're only going to use the frame that's in between them. So if your tape is really sticky, it doesn't quite matter with this one if you've got dies that are really close to each other like this, because it's not going to touch any of the card along that area. It's only going to touch it in the middle, and we're not actually using that middle bit. Okay, so you just line them up on there just like the full set, and in fact I'll keep that bigger one off and go a little bit smaller. Okay, and I want you to cut that out of the colour piece of card that you have chosen. So it could be black as it is on these. Okay, and it could be pink, red, blue, whatever colour you decide. Now the difference, I've taken every single die, and this is a tonic one, but I know the Crafts 2 ones that we do are also as close as this. If I took every other die out, so left that one, take the next one out and cut them, the black frame will come out that thick, so you won't see much of a background. But by leaving these all together, you end up with a thinner background. Okay, and I'll show you why. Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to take a piece of card, and I think I'm going to use a piece of black. And because I know my card is 15, I can actually take a piece of black card and just cut it to 15. Just make it a bit square, makes it easier to handle. And then I'm going to take my dies, I'm going to place my card on the top, and I'm just going to stick that very end one down like that. And when I turn them over, all my dies are going to stay in place. Now, I'm not worried whether it goes wonky or not, but it just happens to have fallen straight. I'm going to take my Grand Caliber, but you can use your eBosser or any other machines that you've got that will take an A5. Okay, and then I'm going to take my cutting plates. So cutting plate for the Grand Caliber is the white one, and I'm just going to angle the dies so the point is touching the corners there and there, and then I'll put that through like that. And because I've got half plates, it means I can put them in at an angle like this. I'm going to go forward and back. Yeah, I think it's quite clever as well, Peter. It's really nice actually. It's a good way of using your nesting dies without just using it as cutting a sort of frame or something like that. This is using multiple ones, and that is now all that. I can now take that away from there, take my plates away, and that is now all cut. So I just went back and forth and then turned it. If you've got a Gemini or electric machine, it might do that first time, it may not, you just don't know. I'm going to take the outer edge one away. Now I could use that as a frame, but I'm going to scrumple that up because it's all the pieces within the die that I want. Okay, and you might find that there's the odd little bit that hasn't quite cut, but I just tend to take them out like that. And if there is, and that's the good thing about using a square one, if it hasn't quite cut in the area, you can either take a craft knife and just cut that a little bit. It's because you're cutting so many dies, okay, but normally you can just pull them apart anyway. So that's that one where it's gripped, so it's only gripping in one way, in one area first. So you can actually fold the crease like that, and then they just pop away. So it's just like a perforation type thing really. Okay. I say if you've got an eBosser, this is going to fly through, or any of your other electric machines, it'll fly through and you won't have to worry about it so much either. Okay. Should have put it through a couple more times. There we are. Typical. Could have put a shim in as well. Typical. And that's the difference between using a non-electric one where it hasn't got as much pressure as some of the other dies, as some of the other machines. Just going to go down that one. I might actually put the smaller ones back in again and get them to cut a bit more. But, you know, put a shim on the back. If you find you're having this problem, put a shim on the back. The one I cut yesterday cut absolutely perfect, which is typical. Always on the live, eh? Always on the live. So, like I said, I'm going to put that back through. Okay, so I'm going to bring that in, and I think I might shim it up again. I might shim it this time. So all I'm going to do, put it on like that. I'm going to chuck a piece of paper underneath the dies, like that, just to give that extra little oomph, and I'm going to put it back through. But I don't want to be cutting all the way through them, and you can feel the difference, and you can hear it cracking as well, which means it's cutting a bit better. Okay, so typical with lives, cut perfect yesterday by going through twice. Today it's just playing up, so that's just a bit of scrap paper. When I pick that up again, all my frames will just fall up now. There we are, all cut. don't be afraid to use a bit of plastic or a bit of card or something just to shim it up, just a little extra, and that'll help it to cut. And if you're finding it not cutting on your Gemini, just add the metal shim in. Sorry, that's just wiggled it. Add the metal shim in and that will actually sort that out as well. And that's okay, Yvonne. I've literally just I know you can catch up on it later if you just want to watch now, that's fine. But literally that's all I've done is taken a sheet of watercolour card and cut it to 15 by 15 centimeters and put some pixie powders in a little spritzer bottle and spritzed it to make that little background there. But if you watch Gavin's live on Tuesday and you've had to go, you might have some of them anyway. Yeah, Spellbinder ones are fine. It's just if there's a bigger gap between them, if there's a bigger gap and they're not really close dies together, you'll just end up with a bigger, thicker die, things like that, that's all, instead of having the thinner ones, which I like that. So it doesn't matter, to be honest with you. They all look quite nice anyway, and you'll have it something different to what everybody else will have as well then, okay? So, push the cards aside, that's my background. These are all my little bits. So, I'm going to take my background card, and what we do, we take one, the next size down we put to the side, the next size one we take to the card again. Just going to break that bit off. Okay, so this is how we layer them up. So I like to stick them on. Okay, and I'm using the original high tack because it grips like anything. If you've got a fine nozzle, these have got a little fine hole in them. I'm not squeezing too much, the glue is just coming out lovely. Just getting the corners. Okay, and I'm just going to place that down, and you can see how quick this grips. That's done. Okay, so that's on. So then you miss out the next one, and you take the next size in, which would fit inside there. Okay, and make sure you put in your glue on the back end where the die would have cut, so that you've got the nice clean edge of the die cut facing up. I'm just putting glue on the edge like that, and then you can either twist the card and hold that square. That's all I'm doing. I'm making sure that all 4 points are staying within the square but turned around. So I just tend to push the 4 corners first and then push that down like that. So that's number 2. And then the next one which fits in there you can put aside there, and then the one that would fit inside there you're going to use there. So you use every other frame. Okay. How are you today anyway, Yvonne? You okay? Seb. Hi Janine. Glad you're liking it. So I'm just putting that again. So you just keep twisting and keep twisting and keep twisting. So if you've got any of the Phil Martin sort of ones as well that's got the embossed edges, you can use them as well. I think they're a little bit further apart, but that's fine, but you'll have all that stitching effect, well not all stitching, the embossed side all the way around it. You can use normal mica powders in a spray. Mica powders are literally pixie powders. The colours are usually a little bit more subdued, that's the only difference. The pixie powders have got a lot more colour in them. The micas are exactly the same, yeah. Just be careful how much powder you're putting in. You know, put some in, add some water. If you need to add, mix it all up, throw it out, throw it about, spritz it on a little bit of card, see how light it is. And if you think it needs a bit more, then just add a little bit more. So I'm just keep going. I'm missing the next one, that'll go over there. So out of cutting all of these, you end up with 2 frames really, because I can do exactly the same with that, but I will show you something else you can do as well. So I'm just putting glue all the way around like that in the fine nozzle. Just make sure all the points are touching as you turn it. It sort of ends up being like a square vortex, sort of vanishing into the center. So I'm missing the next one and going to the next one. Okay, you can twist it. And if I wanted to, I could have stopped sort of 3 in or 4 in, and I could have stamped an image in the middle of the 4th one and coloured that, and then that's how that, so you're actually doing it on the back of the thing. So that's what I did with this one. Just put it on my press to impress, put the 4th frame there ready so I knew, and then just stamp that in the middle and then watercoloured that. Alright, yeah, with the, I tried doing Gavin's Way on Tuesday, but it didn't work. Was that with the mica powders? Because it could be that if it was the mica powders, so I could either use the last one, or I can put that with that, and then I can just put my square bit in the middle of that. Okay, or I could even leave that out, which is what I did on my other ones. So I'm just going to leave that like that now. Okay, so that is literally the vortex. Oh, hi Sarah, how are you? Okay, now the reason I put this on like that is because I like to trim around after I've sprayed. So I get one side straight and then I just trim it around so it's a little bit smaller than what I did, and I'm guiding the plastic so I know I'm leaving the same border around all 4 edges, and then I know that's a bit more square. So literally you just trim it down. Okay, so that is that piece. So that's nice and done. Okay, and again, the other way of doing it, if I just grab Gavin's little piece he had that he did the other day, and I will cut a piece out of that as well, just to show you how to do the other, something different to do with the other frame. So again, I'm going to cut this down to, probably cut this down to 14.5 to be honest with you, just so that it's a little bit smaller anyway. Open it up, 14.5. So this is the old Woodaway trimmer. We do the newer one when it's in stock. So I've now got another piece which will fit on my card, and it's just a little bit like that. Okay, so the other way of doing it is actually taking your frame again, putting it around. I'm going to place this dead center, drop it, wiggle it down. Okay, and then if you wanted a different look, so I know I'm putting the glue off screen for you, but if you wanted a different look, just come to the very end, put your frame over the top of the frame that side, and do that. And around the edges again. And like I said, you can use your fine line bottles as well, like this, which would be a finer line, but I'm being used to using these. Now there's a couple of ways of doing this. I could either put that on there, or I could put it on there as well. So I'm going to go the same side. We have a different look. So just using the same sort of dies, and you're using what come out, what was the waste from the other one. Go centre again. So imagine this is a normal card now, and without the pixie powder background, you could matte and layer each one of these on a piece of colour, different colour card, and do like a rainbow effect. I'm just going to put that there, and in fact to that last one I'm just going to pop it dead centre. Like that. Okay, so just a different look. Okay, so the background, Sarah, is pixie powders. The dark blue one is the one Gavin did, the yellow one is the one Gavin did, and then I also on the yellow one I've actually embossed with a folder the pixie powder background. I'm actually going to do the flowers with the folder this time. So there we are. And if you find again little strays of paper where it's been gone through with your dye, once the glue is dried, you can take your little brush. It could be the X-Cut one, it could be the Crafter's Companion one, it could be the Creative Expression one, and just give it a gentle rub like that after it's stuck all down, and it'll take any of the little dusty powdery bits off. Just go with the flow of the lines, that's all. Okay, and that's how you get rid of all your little bits that come off your die cutting. Alright, so that's two backgrounds. So I'm not going to use that one, I'm going to use this one, but just to show you that was different, that's all. So how was everybody today? You all been out in the sun, done your walk? So we need now a card base. So 6x6 cards. If you've got a card and envelope, you can just use a 6x6 card and envelope. But for 6x6, I'm just taking an A4 piece of card and placing on my Crafter's Companion board. Popping it through to the handle. If you've got a normal scoreboard, just put it on the centimetre side, push it all the way to the left and to the top, and score it at 15 centimetres. And when you score your card like that, the groove is going downwards, so you should always lift that groove upwards when you fold in. So the groove is downwards and you lift the card upwards from it, so the fold comes the opposite way. So that is now perfectly folded with a nice little lip. Okay, so that's that. I'm glad you're liking them, don't it? Okay, and then because that was scored at 15, I'm going to pop it in. So if you've got a trimmer that doesn't like going through double, then you can open it up like that and cut it to 15 centimetres, but I usually just fold it and put it in because this trimmer is quite good for double. put it to 15 centimeters. So this is the fold end and that's the open end. I'm just going to take that a little bit off, and that is now my card base. And in fact, because we can see a fair bit of that background, I'm actually going to do a little bit of embossing on that as well. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to place the bit of card in up to the fold edge in the pattern. I'm going to take my plates for my Grand Caliber, and I've mixed it up with a bit with my Big Shot one as well. Haha. And then I'm just going to score that. Oh, can't do it that way. So I'm going to have to do it. Right, I see. I'm going to have to do it that way. Sorry, because my plates won't, my Big Shot plate won't go through it there. Instead of grabbing the raspberry plate, I'm being lazy, which isn't like me. So I'm just making sure the pattern is on the edge of my plate, and I'm just going to feed them through like that. So all different machines got a different way of embossing. They use different sandwiches and different things like that, and I don't mean, and I know Peter's watching today, so when I say a sandwich I don't mean a ham one or tomato one or a tuna one. See, I know what type of jokes come from Peter, so got in there before you, Peter, this morning or this afternoon. So as you can see now, that is nice and textured, and it folds up lovely as well. Okay, and then I'm going to pop that onto there, so it just gives it another little bit of interest around the outer edge. Okay, and if your card is scoring, just run your thumb and finger around the edge and it'll flatten that as well. So I'm going to use my all-purpose Collal now. Pop it around the edge, but not too close because it will lose. And we don't, because I'm putting it onto an embossed bit, I don't want it to ooze out of that, because it'd be hard to get the oozed bits away because of the texture, and it'll just sit in between. So I'll just use a little bit of that. I'm going to fit that onto there. There's a nice little bit of embossing, and you can just see all the little shimmers from the pixie powders. Thank you, Diane. Have I missed anybody saying hello today as well? If I have, say hello again, as I'm looking at all the comments again now while that's doing that. So that's that bit. So I'm now going to do some flowers and a sentiment, a nice sentiment to go in the middle. Now you could put a little image in the middle of this. You could put your foam flowers on there. You could put handmade flowers. You can put your plastic flowers. You can put whatever you want on it. Okay, but I am going to do a nice little sentiment, and I think I'll stick with my favourite at the moment, because they have become my favourite sentiment stamps at the moment. And that's the one out of the Pinkfresh Studio Spring Flowers that came with the magazine. I've used this a lot at the moment because they've got a lovely birthday wishes there, a lovely happy birthday, and a thank you, and just a note, and just because, and a congratulations. So I quite like that, and in fact that's the flower I used in the centre of that one there. This is that flower there. Okay. Yeah, I do tend to do all these sorts of bits. So I'm going to do, I think I'll do birthday wishes. Now, don't be afraid to cut into your stamps as well. So the happy birthday one, I've actually cut in between happy and birthday. And I've also done the same with birthday wishes. So I've just separated the birthday and the wishes by putting the scissors down the middle. So don't be afraid, really don't be afraid to take them out and do that, okay? And then I'm going to use a plain white. So I've now got a bit of plain white that I've got with these that I've just cut off, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the scissors first and just separate that centre bit. So I've now got two pieces. Okay. Put my heat away, it's all cool. Now, I know some of you will have 5-petal die punches, dies and all sorts of things like that, and this is where you decide now what you actually want to do and what you want to cut. And I'm actually going to use, I did use a certain die the other day, and some of you might actually have that, so I will show you that. I won't use a punch. When we used to do the die cutting essentials, this was one of the sets there, and I'm actually going to use the big flower and the little flower from it, and that's all I'm going to use. So that's all you need if you've got any flower dies, just a small one and a large one. So this is that was a very old copy of it, and in fact it was one that we didn't sort of go very well, so just a nice big one and a nice small one, so that's sort of the sizes. And did you want to know a size? I do. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my die cutting machine, and I'm just going to use my little one this time. So this is my very, very, very old Crafters Companion diamond press. We can now get the little, I think it's called Gemini Go, I think it is now. We can get them. So if anybody would be interested in a little one, we can get hold of them. And literally this one comes with just a little sandwich like that, and I'm not sure if the Gemini Go comes with the same sort of sandwiches. Okay, that's all I'm going to do is just put that up against there and cut that, so I know I can get that on. Okay. And I'm going to cut some flowers, and I'm going to cut them white, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with them then after that. So straight through, that's one. So some of you may have the, I don't know which ones. Oh, Gemini Mini is what it's called, right? Okay, so it's the Gemini Mini, as Gavin have just said. Do you know how much the Gemini Mini is, Gav, for a nice small machine? I think the opening to the Gemini Mini is a little bit larger than this one as well. And does it use the same sort of cutting sandwich, Gavin? I think it's got the same cutting plates, isn't it, as this one, just the folded one? Or does it have the proper ones like the machines? Never remember. So when we do flowers, we usually do them in bundles of 3. And because I doubled up on this flower, I'm cutting 6 of the large ones. Let's see if you've got a small machine. Sometimes if you're cutting little things, it's just easier than trying to go through a big machine all the time. some of you may have baby blues out there, or, and I don't mean you're pregnant and having baby blues, but there's a machine called Baby Blue that you might have. I think they all sort of came out at the same time as the diamond press. Okay, I've just cut 6 of the big ones in white. The plate is just a little fraction too small sometimes, depends on how I put the die in. There we are. So the Gemini Mini is $29.99 and uses similar sandwich. So it's there's 3 inches wide by 6 inches long. Okay, and that's the size of the plates. And I think it's the same sort of sandwich as this, so it's a plastic thing that folds, and you can use it on all 4 sides to cut into 4 sides. So now I have 6. Thank you, Gavin, for that information. I have now 6 white ones. I'll show you what I'm going to do with them now. And then I'm going to take, so I'm terrible for not throwing out any little bits of black card, and this is the reason why. Because when I want to do something that's just like the centre of the flower, I'll actually pop it on and cut them as well. So because I'm only doing 3 flowers, I'm actually just putting through 3 little ones, 3 little black ones. They're very good for cutting out your word dies as well, the little machines, because you can just put them in, especially if you just want to cut a little sentiment out. It's so much easier to cut a little sentiment die out on this than trying to put it through your bigger machines. So this is always at hand with me. So doesn't matter whether I put it through the open edge or the other end of the sandwich, it'll still cut. So there we are. So I've now got 3 little black ones. Oh, there's a problem, Peter. It's good to be popular though. At least people are worried about you, and that's why they fall in. Unless it's gas, electric and stuff like that, they're trying to get you to do things. Phone keeps ringing, so I'm missing most of this. Which sandwich did I miss? I knew you'd say something like that. So again, I've got 6 white ones, and this is actually super smooth. And literally, I'm just going to, that's it. Just going to put a bit of colour on it. Alright. Now it's just the pixie powders again. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tap it to get most of the wetness off them. So I want it to be quite subtle. There we are. Okay. So I'll actually dry them quickly in a bit. So I've coloured my sandwich today, Peter, was cheese and tomato. I was stressing trying to do all the samples, some extra samples of the different dyes, and Gavin came running to my rescue to make me a sarnie. So he's a good lad. Being brought up proper, yeah, I see. So I'm just going to give him a quick blast. I'm not worried about my fingers at the moment because it's not that hot. And because I dabbed them with a kitchen towel, I took most of the moisture off them anyway. This is just to make sure they're a little bit drier. There we go. That's that done. So to shape these flowers and to cut them, I took a little scissors. Was that a Pixie spray? It's Pixie Powders Sarah in a spritzer bottle. So what I do, you put a little bit of the powder in, and oh, lovely, Yvonne. It was a lovely sandwich I had as well. But yeah, so the Pixie powders, put some Pixie powders or your mica powders into a spritzer bottle, add some water. Don't put too much because they will become, so as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm cutting down the petal. Can you see that? Alright, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just cutting into every petal like that. And it doesn't matter how many times you cut into it, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could cut into the next one 6 times. You know, it's entirely up to you. It's just to make it a different type of flower. I'm going to do 3 different ones to be honest with you, so I'm not cutting all the way to the centre, leaving the circle bit there. That's a bit into that, and then I'm going to take one of the ones that's a bit lighter and do the same thing. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to do this with your flower forming foam ones as well. And then when you cut it like this after you've die cut them, and then when you put them on the iron, they'll curl, and because you've cut them into strips, that each strip will actually curl a little bit different, I would think. It'd be worth trying that. So that's that. So that's that one. Then I'm going to take a tweezers, and I need to invest in a new tweezers to be honest with you. I'm going to just place that in the centre of the petal, and I'm going to push upwards. Centre of the petal, push the 2 sides upwards, 2 sides upwards, and that's why I didn't dry the card too much, because it'll actually help to shape it a bit better. And up again, so I'm just sandwiching in between, pushing up like that, pushing up like that. So that's that one. And then with this one I'm going to do my usual sort of thing. So you can actually take a tool if you want and rub it around the petal, and you just move your thumb and the tool around like that, and then I tend to just lift them up around the circle that's in the centre, and then you can bring them up like that, and then you get that sort of cup. So I'm going to do all 3 of these flowers. Okay, just bring them up, bring them up, bring them up, and then I'm going to mat and lay them over each other like that to make it a full flower, and same as that one. Do that, and then these ones I'm also going to curve as well, but I'm going to just do that between my thumb and finger. Just going to roll him up, just using the card and the thumb, basically shaping it over the top of my fingers. Bring them up like that, and then you can even pull these bits apart, and then you end up with a nice little open rough petal flower. So has anybody got any questions at all? So I'm just pulling all these bits apart. Okay, so now we've got 3 different types of flowers. So, Aqua replying to Peter. What was it called? I think Gavin's right. It was called Aqua Lagoon, I think. Aqua Lagoon, it was, yes. The blue I used was Teal Wash, and the blue that Gavin used was Aqua Lagoon. Okay. So now I've got my original high tack. I'm going to place a little dollop in the centre of that one, a little dollop in the centre of that one, and a little dollop in the centre of that one. And I'm going to put my little bolt back on. Thank you for answering that one, Gavin. It's a good thing with Gavin watching downstairs, see. I'm then going to offset them. And then I'm going to take a round end of the pen and push them in here. If you've got flower shaping tools, you can use a big ball tool or a medium ball tool for that. But that's one flower. And you can also use the Phil Martin flowers that we've had as well, the 4-petal ones. And you can cut them exactly the same as I've cut all of these, or shape them exactly as I've shaped all of these. Just using the flat end of that one, just to do that. And they've stuck already. And then this one I'm going to offset again. Just make it a fuller flower then. So there we are. So I've got 3 different flowers from the same die. Okay. So that's them. This is Ray, and I'm going to put the little black centres into them as well, because I've got a black frame on my base card. I thought I would add a little bit of black, and that's what the little one was for. And I'm just rolling them over my finger, pulling them up into a little cup, placing the centre down, and you can offset them or leave them dead in the centre like that. And again, you can either use a ball tool or another tool just to keep it flat on there. So that's that. So you could use parchment flowers on this. You could use all sorts of different things on it, to be honest with you. You could even put stamens through these. You just take a pokey tool and poke a hole through the centre of the flowers once they dry, and then put some stamens on it. Okay, so I think we've got some stamens in now as well again. I think they came in the other day. Pop that in the centre there, and then going into the petals. Okay, and then I can even add a pearl into them if I wanted to after, or a little gem, which I might do before we finish that off. So that's nice little. So again, you can use mirror card to cut, or anything else. So I'm actually going to now take, so all these flowers came out of the one piece that I had from the bit I cut off the bottom of the card. And this is the other piece I've got here now. And I'm actually going to use my Press to Impress. So for those who don't know, we've actually got some more Press to Impresses in again, because they've managed to get them back in the country. And I'm actually going to place that right in the corner, use a couple of magnets, and I put birthday and wishes, and I'm going to separate them a bit more, leave a bigger gap in between them, because I've cut them apart. I can, and this is it. You can make it do what you want to do. Then I'm going to take So because it's on playing card, I can use VersaFine, I can use Harmony inks, I can use the opaque jet black. It doesn't matter, it's entirely up to you what you got. I usually use a dye based one or one for the alcohol pens. You can even use the watercolour ones as well. You can use StazOn, it's entirely up to you. We're not colouring over the top, so it doesn't matter which one you use. And then I'm going to take my stamp cleaner, which I still haven't cleaned. Look, oh, terrible, still haven't cleaned it. Might have to wash that tomorrow. Just going to take my stamp, turn it upside down, pop it on there, rub it on that side, wipe it on that side, and that takes the ink off. Take my stamp off my press to impress, pop it upside down on there, push my acrylic block on there, rub it. So the first one is cleaning it and the second one is drying it. And that just takes the ink off. And I did that earlier on as well with the StazOn, because I did it really quickly. It actually did take it all off as well. So that's that. I'm actually going to make a little tab of sorts out of this. So I'm going to take my trimmer and move that out of the way. Now with this one, you've got sizes to the left and to the right of the cutting strip. So I'm going to pop that to 3 centimeters there, because that's a nice little gap between them. And I'm going to cut down there. Okay. So because I've got that at 3 centimeters, I'm going to take a black piece and I'm going to cut that 3.5. Now that only goes up to 3 on mine. I think it goes on the new ones, it goes up a bit further, I think. So I'm going to line up the 3.5 on the side and cut that. So again, I never cut out any black. Yeah, they are a godsend for stamping the Press to Impress Deborahs, aren't they? So this is the black. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark this with a bit of a pen just to show you what I'm doing, how I do it. I want to put like a little tag thing there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little dot a little bit away from the end there, and then I'm going to put a little dot in the centre there, which is about the same distance from the V to that dot, from the S, and it come out to there. Okay, so this is a little guideline for me. Okay, and also just so that I don't get confused, there's about 2 centimeters there. I'm going to cut that over this side as well. So now I've got the same gap from there to the dot and from there to the dot. Okay, and as you can see, that does fit on there, but the black is too big. That doesn't matter. So I'm going to put something white under here so you can see what I'm actually doing. I'm placing the white and the black right up to each other on the side, and I'm just making sure that it's square up top and bottom. Okay, so you can actually see that. I'm just making sure. So yeah, so there we are, so you can see that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold that like that, and I'm going to cut from the corner of the black across the white down to the dot. Yeah, turn it a bit, go from the corner of the black and aim for the white, and they will drop off. Okay, so now that is like that, but I want a bit of black on the end. So the bit of black that's around the edge there, I want to make sure that it's doubled here. Okay, so I want it doubled there, but it's all in line now, but there's a lot more there than it is top and bottom. Okay, and I'm going to do exactly the same now over this side. I'm going to cut that bit of black off there so that I know where to go from in the corners. Which 4 did Ian use for flowers? Missed that bit. Was that the dye? Is that the dye? Which 4 did Ian use for flowers? Sorry, which dye did Ian use? Right. I'm not sure if it was last year, possibly. This die in the corner here, this frame with a circle, a leaf and hello. And it had it had a little flower and a large flower with it. These actually came off a die cut in Essentials, but as long as you've got a large and a small, so you could use the Phil Martin ones, the 4-petal ones, the 5-petal ones, you can use a 6-petal one, you can use the Creative Expression flowers, as long as it's solid flowers, Janice, it doesn't matter. I've lost the plot just watching. So basically, as long as that gap is larger there, as long as the black is larger there, and you put your card up to the edge here flat again, and I cut from the corner to the dot. So some of you might have dies that'll do this for you anyway, but this is how I do my tags. And because I left that double amount of black there, when I push that forward now, I've got the same amount of black left and right. Like that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to use now. So there's my card. Pop that there. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little curl into this. So I'm going to curl up the centre. So I'm just rubbing my fingers up there. And now the bits coming down on the side. I might go at a little bit of an angle today as well. See, oh, changing up a bit. Okay, all-purpose cloud on my white piece. Remember, don't put too much. The more you use, the more you use, the longer it'll take to dry, and it'll also ooze out. Okay, just be careful with the amount you're using. So let me show you. I'm just sticking that on now, so that there's a gap, a little bit of black all the way around, top, bottom, left and right. There we go. And then to keep this domed in the back, so you can see it's curvy, I'm then going to put 2 bits of foam pads on top of each other. So I've peeled the backing off it, the first one, and then did that for the second one as well. And then I'm going to go against all things, but because we've got all those different straightnesses going around and around and around, I can actually go at an angle now on this. I'm actually going to go right through the centre like that. I'm going to push that middle bit down there, which means it'll keep that curviness there. And I could have put more on, but I don't want it to be too thick. And just to make sure that it's all stuck, no problem, Janice. That's why it's good that you can ask us the questions while we're still here, because, you know, we can answer them then if you didn't quite catch it. It's a good thing with these lives. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue just under the 2 corners there, and then I've doubled up in the center there, so now it'll stay domed up a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to put my flowers on. So I think I'm going to put the rough one up here, and I'm going to put those 2 down by here. Yes, that's it. So always make sure that they go in. I don't know, Are you freaking out, Gavin, like Donna said, because it's on a wonk? Gavin does like things straight. Apart from me. I'm just going to pop that under there. Is Gavin still watching? Or has he gone to sleep? Maybe I've put him to sleep. So I'm now just holding the flowers just down a little bit, and they are dry already. So as you can see, they're not falling off. You can shake the card. They're not falling off. So the original high tack is very, very good for that. You can use a hot glue gun as well to fit your flowers on, to like the texture around the edge of that. And I think I'm going to add some pearls. Yeah, that's true. Gavin is on a bit of a wonk today because he's all out of sorts today. So I'm now going to put some, because I haven't put pearls or gems or stuff in the other two either, I think I'm going to do that today as well. I'm freaking out because my pictures weren't straight on my living room. Yeah, he was also Monday. So I'm now going to take some gems. I've got a mix of different colour ones there, but I've also got 2 containers of gems here, so I'm just going to choose which colours I want to use. I think on the yellow one I may actually use some yellow gems in the centre of the flowers. I've got some really nice bright yellow ones here. Is that what you're using Tuesday next week? Right, okay. So I was just used the, I'm going to put the yellow ones on there because they look quite nice on there. Because these have got pinks on it, but it is quite a white card. I may just go with, I think I've got some pink ones here. I think they would go quite well on that one. Yep. And then the blue ones, I'm actually going to put these nice little blue ones in the centre. Some nice little blue gems. So keep with the colour theme and just do them. So I've now placed them where I want them, but obviously I need to add glue. And this is the other thing that the original high tack glue is really good for. Too much to drink. Not enough, I think, don't I? So I'm just going to put a little dollop in the middle. Take my gem, use my sticky pencil. So this is a gem pencil. It's literally 4 gems. So I'm just going to pick it up and you just sharpen it like a normal pencil. It's not sticky to the touch. It's not sticky to the touch, but I think what it is, there's little sort of holes in the lead, so it's like a sponge. So I think the lead is a bit like a sponge, and what that does is actually forms a suction between the pencil and the gem. Right, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all gems off, and that's, like I said, it's not sticky. Just picks it up. So that's them ones. Must have a bit of grease on it. And there we are. So if you push it down, it forms more of a suction. 2, 3. And then pop my little bung on it. Lovely card and lovely colours. Thank you. You're very clever. Oh, thank you, Janice. It's just if you get a chance to play, it's quite nice. I do have little ideas, and I wanted to use the nesting dies because I know a lot of you have different nesting dies. So yeah, so that's the pink one I had already done, and the yellow one I'd already done, but I've just added the gems to them. And then the blue one is the one I've done today. So you can see they all look a little bit different, sort of same but different. Oh, and I didn't emboss my cards, my flowers. I was going to emboss one or two of those flowers. Doesn't matter, I've got the embossing on the back now. I actually did it on the Pixie Powders background on this one. So yeah, so that's the 3 cards in that size. So 2 of these will actually be going out to you. Well, there might be a few of them going out to people who have done orders. There's that one, which I've made out of bits of it as well. There's also this one. Okay, and then I've got the one with the circles that way as well. And then that was the one that looks like an Easter egg in the middle, and I could put that way, I could put it that way. I think I'm going to put it that way and put Happy Easter across the bottom, or Happy Easter like that. Okay, and then I'll matte layer that then on a nice colour card as well. So what did you think of that then? So like I said, some of these will be coming out to some lucky dippers. So has anybody got any questions at all? Any problems with any craft stuff they bought from us that you can't quite get to go right? Maybe. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, you have got circle nesting dies, Donna. Yes, I did use a circle one, I think. Yes, use the circle ones on that one. I just put them all to one side, and that was do one, miss a frame, do one, miss a frame, do one, miss a frame. Okay, so that's how that one was. You can do it with a heart shape. How about a heart shape? Yes, you can do your heart shapes, that's not a problem. Just do the same with the heart shapes. I'd probably, where the point of the heart is, I'd probably stick it there, and just wherever it lands in at the bottom, or try putting all the points at the bottom. But yep, circles, ovals. So I've got another little oval one here. So that oval was literally going all the way in between and sticking them at the bottom, and then putting the last 2 in like that. This one was actually turning them, turning the oval so that they actually touch both ends, and then just kept turning them until I got that. So you can get some really unusual funky backgrounds from them. But yeah, if you enjoy that, Thank you, Ian. I need one of them small die cutting machines though. Looks handy. The small die cutting machine is very handy. I said we can get the Gemini. I think Gavin put the price on one of the comments. We can get the Gemini Mini, and it's $29.99 and uses the similar sandwich, so you haven't got to worry about plates. They literally, it's a plastic, little plastic sandwiches like that, which opens up, so it's like an embossing folder, but you can use it both ways, and it hasn't got any texture in, so that's how they work. Just put your die in your card in and then feed it through. So yeah, it's very good for small sentiments. If you just want a small couple of little flowers, they're really good for that. Yeah, they are, aren't they? Because of the quirky background tone. They are very Macintosh. That's okay, Yvonne. Glad we're keeping you sane. I think it's keeping me sane, sort of. Yeah, it is a different take on nesting dies, and you know, if you go, I'm not sure about using the hexagonals, but try it. I don't know how much of the pattern would show in the background with them ones, but yeah, you can try them as well if you got them. So that is it for me today. So if you missed the Pixie Powder background one, Gavin did that on Tuesday. And just to give you a heads up as well, so that was the cards we did today. I know Gavin will be using, on next Tuesday, Gavin's going to be using his Trendsetter Urban Style Fashionista Man. So he's going to be using that stamp alongside with Phil Martin's double debossed rounded corner rectangles, which is that. So again, you could use these for the card I'm doing now, and they'd be debossed edges. Thank you, Alison. They are rather nice. And then we've also had some of the Phil Martin papers in, and we've got the Steel and Honey and the A4 Mocha. So that's the Steel and Honey, so it's silver, sort of greys and yellows and oranges, and then the A4 Mocha is sort of browny greys, like a warm grey, warm brown, and sort of your blues, which are quite nice. So Gavin's going to be doing a card with these products on Tuesday. So obviously Gavin doesn't do a craft long, he just does a demo day, but if you have something similar, you could maybe follow on if you wanted to. Okay, so I just thought I'd let you know that, because we have our double M done. For those who have ordered some groovy stuff, they have been ordered and we are just waiting for them. What else have we had in? Yeah, those backing papers would go nice. Shall I open them up and just show them? Ooh. Still just as good. Right, and the good thing about Phil's is he never glues his in, so it's not a pad, they're actually all loose. Okay, so literally, and they're single-sided, so you don't have to worry about using a piece that's got a pattern on the back that you really like and having to use the opposite side. So these are all the patterns. So lines, backgrounds, and little diamonds. Oh, I like that one. And then the mochas, and they're really lovely. So like that. So similar designs in the mocha as it was in the blue. Lines, little diamonds, and that pattern there. And there you go. I think you get 2 of each one. You get 2 of each one, and there's 10 designs, so there's 40 sheets in each. Ooh. Yes, because you've got the 2 colours, so you get 2 of each. 2 of each of the blue and 2 of each of the mochas, and that pattern, 2 of each of all them patterns as well. And then, oh, let's have a look at these. These are going to be my favourite. Even though blue is my favourite colour, I'm really into yellows and sort of oranges at the moment. So again, there's that one, and you get 40 sheets in this one as well. And these are all on our website now. So there's the grey ones, so nice little backgrounds there. Don't know if they're focusing in actually. Sort of. If I stop a little bit, leave it focus in. Yep. Oh, that's nice. Ooh. I think the honey ones are going to be my favourite, I think. Might have to use some of them. Oh yeah. Yep, I think the honeys are my favourite ones so far. Yep. So there we are. So you get 2 sheets of each pattern in both colours. Okay. So thank you again so very much for joining me today. And I hope you all keep well and safe. Keep sane, keep crafting, and hopefully we'll see you all quite soon. And don't forget, if you want to order anything, we are in the shop again on Monday. And for those, if you have any bottles that you need filling, I think you can order online for the amount you want filled, as long as it's a 500ml bottle. But if not, you can ring us while you're outside the shop. You can put the bottles at the top of the stairs. We'll then pick up the bottles while you step away. We will fill them for you, and then we can also take, if you take your card, take payment with your card through contactless, and give you your card back with your bottles. Okay. So thank you very much again for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely day. And don't forget, Gavin is back on Tuesday with his live, and we're in work on Monday. So thank you very much. Bye.